Hey guys, what's up? Nick here once again, and I am very excited to do a full unboxing and first impressions of the Lenovo Legion Go. So let's get right into it. I want to apologize about the current look of the video right now. You got some stuff in the background here, like my monitor and my keyboard. Normally I have a little bit more zoomed in, so you don't see this extra stuff about what's going on my desk. However, this is a massive box, and I got to show the entire thing on camera here while we unbox it. And as you may or may not know, my channel has become pretty popular for the Steam Deck. I've made many videos on this guy right here, and I still absolutely love my Steam Deck. No, I am not going to be getting rid of the Steam Deck in place of the Legion Go. However, I do probably see this becoming my daily driver for portable gaming systems that can run PC games. One major feature that the Legion Go has, the Steam Deck does not, is it comes with a built-in actual mouse. So yeah, kind of like this, but it sticks or connects to the device, kind of like the Nintendo Switch. So we'll get more into that once we get out of the box, but I just wanted to give a quick disclaimer that no, I am not going to be stopping on making Steam Deck content on this channel, nor will I be getting rid of the Steam Deck just for the Lenovo Legion Go. Also, let me know in the comment section below if you'd like me to do a full comparison, like head-to-head match with the Legion Go versus the Steam Deck, because I could definitely do that in the near future. So, going around the box, on the front here, we just have LEG for the Legion, Lenovo branding, nothing too crazy here. And going to the bottom of the box here, we have some specifications. We have an 8.8-inch Quad HD display, which is 2560 by 1600 resolution. It's an IPS touchscreen, so just like the Steam Deck. However, it is 500 nits of brightness at 144 hertz. I don't know how that's going to work in actual gameplay. If it's going to ruin the performance of higher end games, we'll have to see. More than likely, you can probably adjust the hertz down to 60 hertz for lower end or higher end games, I should say, to get better performance, and all of the above, especially with changing the resolutions. But the fact that this is an 8.8-inch Quad HD display is pretty impressive, and I'm super excited to try it out. It does have the Legion True Strike controllers, which I'm assuming is what I was talking about, where one of them actually converts into a mouse. The Lenovo Space, I'm assuming that's like their operating system, kind of like the Steam OS we have on the Steam Deck, but this is running Windows 11 out of the box, as you can see here. So this is a Windows operating system and not using Linux, so I'm also very excited to try that out. So there's a lot of games I actually couldn't install on the Steam Deck due to the Linux operating system stopping them from installing. So that is pretty cool. It is an AMD Ryzen chip Z1 series. It has a 49.2 watt-hour battery. Not really sure what that means. It's kind of confusing to the average consumer because it kind of makes it seem like, oh, we get 49 hours of battery life. I can tell you straight up, this battery life is not going to be good. And honestly, battery is not good on any of these portable PCs just because of how much power is used inside of them to run these games. I'm going to probably guess around 2 hours on average of battery life, but who knows? Maybe it'll blow me away. Again, it's a touchscreen. Multi-modes, not sure what exactly that means, and it does have expandability with its storage capabilities, just like the Steam Deck, so you can put a micro SD card in there to expand that, or you could open it up and put a different M.2 slot in there, but that's up to you if you want to open up the device. This is the 1 terabyte version. I got the higher end model. I believe when I was looking at the two different models, there was only a difference in its storage capacity. There's a 512 gigabyte model and then the 1 terabyte. I decided to go with the 1 terabyte for $750. Now that might sound like a lot of money. This is the big thing with the Legion Go that I'm very happy about, is the price range. I was expecting this thing to launch at $1,000 minimum with what you get, especially with that new mouse feature. So we're gonna have to see where they had to cut some corners to bring that price down, but it is very comparable, at least in price, to the Steam Deck. Because if you guys didn't know, the top of the line Steam Deck, which is the one I have here, which has the better display for less glare and it's less scratch resistant, and it has the 512 gigabyte internal SSD, this one goes for $700. So is this worth $50 more? That's what we're going to try to figure out. On both sides of the box, nothing too crazy to look at, just says Legion Go. I believe it's the same thing. Yep, on this side, again, nothing too crazy. and nothing on the front except for just the Legion, and nothing on the back except just for some barcodes. So let's cut the tape and get it open. Okay, it's gonna be kind of tricky to open with it underneath my monitor, but we're gonna hope for the best here. Oh, yes, okay. I am very happy that this comes with a case. I'm sorry you guys can't really see this, trying to lift it under my monitor. All right, so as you can see, we have the Legion Go here and some accessories. Let's get the accessory box out here first. Looks like this should just flip open, or maybe this slides open. There we go. So this looks like it's to be the charger for the Legion Go. Looks like it is USB-C. Nice to see that it's not proprietary. I like that it's got a yellow inside. That's kind of cool. So you could use any USB-C charger, or you could probably use the charger with a Steam Deck if you already have one. And this looks to be, it's got some wrapping on it. Let's get this off here to see what wattage this charger is. All right, we got the tape off there. And just like the Steam Deck, it is a 65 watt charger. So you're gonna need some serious power to power this boy up. And I'm kind of curious to see how long it'll take to charge from basically nothing to a full charge. I believe the Steam Deck is roughly around 2 hours. So be curious to see if this is any faster. We'll get the actual device out here. This is a much larger case than the Steam Deck's. Get the best from your device with a Lenovo services. I think I'm okay. I don't think there's anything else in the box, but I'm going to double check here. Underneath it was just another pamphlet, most likely a warranty instruction manual, nothing too crazy there. But that is it for the main unboxing experience. Nothing too crazy, but I like it that it's minimal. Not too bad. But we do have the main attraction here. Let's slide this off. Put the case down. It says Legion right on it, which is kind of cool. I like that it's embroidered. We also, around here, it shows some diagrams of the device here, how to charge it, where to plug it in. Game, looks like FPS mode, connected to a monitor. Scan a barcode. Not sure what that does, but I guess we'll soon find out. Going around the case before we open it up, we do have a handle. That's nice. I don't think the Steam Deck one had a handle. I am currently using an aftermarket Steam Deck case, which I actually really love, which they sent this to me to make a video on earlier in the year from Tom Tuck. I love this case. I like that it's very thin. It molds right to the device itself, as you can see with the cutouts here, or I don't even know what you call them, not cutouts, but like they bubble out for the handles and everything. So I hope that third-party makers will make cases like this for the Legion Go as well. That'd be really cool to see. And ooh, what's this? It's like a little oh, look at that, a charging port. So when the device is in there, you can actually plug in a USB-C right into it to charge it while it's in its case. That's actually really a smart, that's really smart. And it's also got a little cover there too, so when you're not using it, you don't have to worry about debris and stuff getting in there. And it does feel magnetized. Yeah, it's got a magnet on it, so it keeps it in place. Very smart, Lenovo, very smart. Well, let's get this guy open here. Unzip it from both sides. Here we go. Are you guys ready? Oh. Okay. Lenovo Space. Oh man, this thing is cold. It's really cold outside today. It's like 25 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, it's pretty cold. Got the lift tab just like on the Steam Deck. Before we get the actual device out of its wrapping, let's see what else comes in here. So this, you might be curious as to what the heck this thing is. This is actually the mouse pad, or the mouse that the side controller disconnects and will connect into here as your mouse. I'm really happy that this comes with a spot in the case, ready to go whenever you need it. So it's easy to travel with. I do love that. So that is the mouse right there. Nothing we have to take off, which is nice. The case itself, though, strangely, with how thick this thing is, I mean, this is a massive, like, look at how thick this thing is. I'm surprised that there's not more spots for accessories, or even like a charger. So kind of a bummer there, but hey, it's very protecting. You can see this top part is very thick. That's all padding and foam. So at least you know your device is going to be very secure in this charging case, but still a bummer, man. There's just no spots for extra accessories. So yeah, we'll put the case to the side for right now. Okay, we'll get the device out of this piece of plastic here. And there she is. My goodness. This thing in person is huge. I mean, I thought the same thing when I got the Steam Deck. I thought that thing was massive. But wow. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's put them side by side here so you guys can get kind of an idea, if you have a Steam Deck at home, how big this thing really is. It's quite the difference. I'd say maybe a little bit taller. I don't think it's wider. It's pretty close actually in its width. It's mostly its height is the biggest difference. I don't know how much thicker it is though. And keep in mind I have a case on the Steam Deck, so it's a little bit thicker than it normally is out of the box. But they're both actually pretty even. Maybe the love handles, you know, on the the controllers stick out a little more on the Legion Go, but otherwise relatively the same thickness. That's pretty cool to see. Put the Steam Deck away for just a second. But holding this, I'm actually pleasantly surprised it's not that heavy. I was expecting it to feel a lot more heavy compared to the Steam Deck. And the Steam Deck, by the way, is not light by any means. I would actually argue with this silicone case on it, it's about the same weight as this, maybe even a little heavier. So I'm pleasantly surprised right now at the weight of this thing. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so we got the Legion Go here. Let's look at the left controller. So we do have the directional pad, looks like a menu button, maybe a multitask button, looks like on a smartphone. We have the analog, which feels great, by the way. Feels a lot like the Steam Deck, maybe a little bit more. It's actually the Steam Deck stiffer. This is a little looser, which I actually prefer. I'm not a huge fan of stiff analog sticks, so I actually really like the feeling of that. It does have an RGB ring around it, which I think you can change the color of in the settings, which is really cool. And another button. I have no idea what these buttons do. We'll probably figure that out. And then going to the right side, this is the special side that turns into a mouse. So we have the standard Xbox X, A, B, Y buttons, another analog, feels the exact same, and a touchpad, which we can remove this little piece of film here. And that is interesting. There is a touchpad, but there's only one. We do not have a touchpad on both sides like you get in the Steam Deck. But to be honest with you, I usually never use the left touchpad anyway. I always had my hand on the left analog, and then I would use the right touchpad for, like, you know, precision clicking and stuff like that. So I kind of understand why they did it this way. But still, really cool that we have a touchpad at all, especially with how large this screen is with a touchscreen. Another button up here looks like a settings button or a start button. And then let's go to the side here and look at the side profile. So we have an M2 and an M1 button, so the main mouse buttons. And then we have a button up here as well for the right trigger, if you have it in the controller mode. On the bottom, we have an FPS mode or an off switch. So I'm assuming once this is disconnected, you hit the FPS mode, it turns into a mouse. And there, right there, is your laser sensor for the mouse itself. Going to the back, we have two more buttons, mouse 3 and 4, on the back of the right controller. And oh my god, they even have a scroll wheel. Oh my, I didn't even know this. There's a legitimate scroll wheel on this. That is awesome. I wonder if it works in the docked mode. I wonder if it works when it's not detached. I'll have to try that out. And it looks like this is the button you use to detach it from the system, more than likely. We'll try that out in a little bit, I guess. But yeah, very cool, very innovative. And that's my biggest thing with this device, is I'm just really astonished to see what they can do with it, with that controller setup. Going to the top, we have the power button. Looks like a headphone jack, so if you want to plug in a microphone or a headset. You have the ventilation for the internal fans. We have, I think this is the micro SD slot, so you can expand the storage, USB-C, and then volume up and down, and possibly speakers. You know, these must be speaker grills, more than likely. And then again, we have the left button up here and the left trigger. We also have a trigger on this side as well. The triggers feel really good, wow. Yeah, these triggers feel amazing. Do they feel better than the Steam Deck? Hold on. I'm glad that I have these right side by side. Oh, much better. Yeah, okay. Steam Decks feel a lot more shallow. They don't have as much travel. These are really nice triggers. And I guess that's probably, you know, it makes sense because this is more catered towards FPS gamers. That's the reason for the mouse. So I'm glad that the triggers feel really good. That makes a lot of sense. Going to the left side here, nothing really to see. And on the back, it looks like we also have some back buttons. So just like on the Steam Deck, we have back buttons on both the inner sides of the controllers, which is cool. So you can probably map those to whatever you want. But as you can see, they're just different orientated for the mouse version. So that's going to be interesting to get used to. That in reality, if you're using this docked, you know, or I should say in controller mode, then you pretty much only have access to these two in the mapping. You're not really going to be, I mean, you probably could do that, but it would feel really awkward using your finger like that to hit those buttons. So very interesting. And then we also have some more ventilation on the back here. Lenovo Legion branding. I like the Legion sign, looks pretty nice. And we have a built-in kickstand. And wow, that hinge is amazing. Holy crap. This hinge feels very sturdy. I love that. That feels great. And you can obviously keep it at any angle you like. So you can have it at any position you would prefer, which is really nice. It feels like it's plastic. Maybe it has like a very thin sheet of metal in here to add some rigidity, but it is a plastic outer coating. And then we have metal hinges that are very strong. So very neat. I love to see that. So built-in hinge is always nice. Steam Deck does not have a built-in hinge. You have to use a case like I do that has one built into the case. And it is very handy. I use it all the time. So the nice thing that this is built in, you don't have to put a grip case around it to have a hinge. So with that, let me really quick just try to get these controllers off. Curious how easy it is. So hit the button. Oh wow, okay. Feels like you broke it, but they actually pop off. They don't slide like on the Switch. So this is what the inner controller looks like. That's the mechanism they use to connect it to the device. And then when the controller is off, this is what the side of the device itself looks like. Pretty neat. I mean, it's definitely a proprietary system. So obviously, if something goes wrong, if these are to break off, you will probably have to send it to Lenovo to fix. This would be very tough to fix yourself. To put it back on, I think you just stick it together. Oh, there is a small, you see that? It is a small sliding mechanism. So once you have it in there, then you slide up to connect it. And then it uses magnets to keep it in place. So, and once it's in there, it's on there. So you have to hit that button. It releases, you pull down a little bit, and it slides out. So there is a little bit of a sliding mechanism like the Switch, just not as prominent. So that is really cool. Love that. And then you're good to go. So let's power this bad boy on and see if we got any juice. It looks like out of the gate it is dead, sadly, so we're going to have to charge it up. I also didn't show the bottom. There is another USB-C port. That's huge, actually. A lot of people really wanted that with the Steam Deck, including myself. So we have two USB-C ports. So no matter which orientation you use in the device, you can charge it without hassle. So it's very cool to see. So if you have it like in docked mode, or if you're using the built-in kickstand, you can still charge it without having to worry about plugging it into the bottom like you did on the Nintendo Switch, for instance. So very cool. Let me charge this up for a little bit, and we'll come back once we get it booted up. All right, charge it up a little bit. Let's see if we got any juice now. There we go. Got the green RGB going around right now around the analog sticks. Legion popping up. Nice. Oh, wow. That is a very bright display. Why is it portrait? Hold on. Is it? Okay, there is an accelerometer in there. So yeah, it automatically rotated. Let's see if we can get it to not do that. Cool. So I'm going to set this up here real quick with my Windows stuff, and we'll come back when we're into the actual system. Alrighty, it's been about like 3-4 hours since the last time I saw you guys. I got everything set up here and installed on the Legion Go, and I got some first impression thoughts for you guys. Out of the box, I gotta say that the Steam Deck is by far a much easier user experience. It is pretty much what you'd expect from a gaming console. You turn it on, it brings you to the home page like we see here. You have a game store, you can install your games, and you're pretty much good to go without much hassle or really any pain. I can sadly not say the same here with the Legion Go, because when you first turn it on, you actually go through a boot system first time setup with a Windows computer, just like any other standard laptop or your desktop PC. So when you first get the Legion Go, you're going to be greeted to the Windows desktop that looks something like this. which is pretty cool, and it is Windows, so you can do everything you can do on a Windows laptop or a computer as long as the processor can handle it. So you can install programs such as Discord, Spotify, maybe Opera GX if you don't like the proprietary internet browser, and it is a full-blown internet browser. It's a full-blown computer. You get your folders, as you can see here. Again, you can open up a full-blown web browser to do what you want, which is pretty cool. You can go to YouTube and Netflix and all that stuff right from here because it is literally just a portable laptop in the form factor of a gaming system. So you do get a lot of benefits in that situation where you don't get any of that out of the box with a Steam Deck. Yes, the Steam Deck does have a full-blown desktop mode, but you have to go out of your way to find it. It doesn't bring it to you right at the beginning like the Legion does. On the other hand, it's also running Linux, so you can't install a lot of the programs you can on Windows, at least not as easily. So there is plus and minuses to either device. But the biggest difference I've seen with the Legion Go versus the Steam Deck is how they have their own proprietary software that sort of runs on its own, but I actually myself had to figure out how to get it installed and get it running when I booted up the device. So it doesn't automatically come on, especially for first-time users. So again, if you're not used to this kind of a system, you might get kind of lost. You might be kind of lost in the dark, which is a big bummer. So hopefully in newer iterations of the Legion Go, or maybe a new software update, Lenovo can kind of force the user to have this pop up right away, especially after a reboot, so they don't have to physically go and find it and install it and have it running, because this is essentially your Steam OS. It runs basically the same. So from the beginning here, you have your recommended section, which should show like previously played games, or in my situation here, showing games that you can buy. You also have your library, game store, cloud gaming, settings, Android games. I'm not really sure what the Android games and the cloud gaming is. Haven't looked into that. But from here, you can actually scroll down and you can see there's a ton of different gamings for sale, I guess. I don't really know if it's specifically through Lenovo, but these are supposedly games that have been approved by Lenovo to work great on the Legion Go. So just like Steam's service, this is kind of the same thing. It's just obviously a lot of these aren't going to be AAA games. They're going to be kind of off-the-wall AA or indie titles. Some of these are AAA, like Payday 3, so it's cool to see. But yeah, so you do have games right at the beginning here, which is nice. But of course, you also have your library, so if you wanted to look at games that you want to add yourself. And from here, these are all the games that I have installed today. If I go to all games here, I haven't installed a whole lot, but I just wanted to test a few just to get a sense of the feeling of the system and how it runs and whatnot. And I gotta admit, out of these few that I've gotten, I've had some really interesting glitches and just some interesting things that I want to point out. And this, of course, is going to be for anybody who's getting the Legion Go and they're trying it for the first time, because this is coming from somebody who's never used a portable Windows device before. This is my first ever handheld Windows device. So I'm coming from a Steam Deck, and this is a much different experience. It feels a lot more beta-ish. It doesn't feel as clean-cut or as finished as the Steam Deck software. The first thing that I'd like to notice is that if you hover over a game, you only have a couple options here. So you can sort by a certain name or whatever. You can see the options, start or back. If we click on options, which this is another thing that's been kind of confusing to me. I keep thinking that these two buttons are start and select, which is pretty much the common layout on every single device I've ever used. However, these two are start and select. These two buttons are proprietary for the Lenovo Legion Go. This one, from what I can gather, is more of just like a home button. So if you click this, it'll bring you back to the home page or to your desktop, and it'll cycle through your open apps. And then this is more of your settings button. But here's the thing. I really don't like how this is laid out. So this button does two functions. As you can see, I click it once, and it opens up this menu over here, which you can see what is currently open in your apps. You can go to your home, which I think just brings you to the desktop. You can look at your current downloads, screenshots, go into your main settings, or the power options. Now, if you click the button again, it goes away. Click it again, and now it brings up your quick settings. I just feel like this should just be a quick settings, especially with that little insignia there. I don't understand why this does two different things. It just feels clunky. On top of that, this whole menu system feels kind of clunky. The quick settings are okay. I don't think these look bad. They remind me like just a straight copy from the Steam Deck, in which, hey, if it ain't broke, why fix it kind of situation. But Yeah, so the quick settings are fine. From here, you can see how much battery life you have on the console and individual controllers, because again, they can disconnect from the main system. You can see your current performance of how the system is running. You can turn on a frame monitor, which is what you see up here. You can turn it on normal, on all, which shows a little bit more information. Simple, which is just the FPS, or off completely. I'm going to leave it on normal for now, for when we go into a game here. As you can see, it's kind of clunky, like I said. Thermal mode. This is actually really interesting. So when you put it on performance mode, which I thought is what I wanted because I wanted to get the best performance out of the games possible, it pretty much ramps your fans to oblivion. This thing gets pretty loud. I will say it is louder than the Steam Deck by far. I'd say in normal use though, like especially right now, it's pretty quiet. It's just when you put it into performance mode, when you want to get the absolute best frames and graphics and all that stuff, you're going to have to put it in performance mode, which is going to ramp up those fans, and it does get quite loud, so definitely keep that in mind. But yeah, so by default it's on balance, but when I put it to performance, it just puts your fans at 100% all times, which is quite annoying. So I'm going to leave that on balanced, and the OS power mode is on performance mode, and which is funny because they have a whole separate thing called full fan speed, but for some reason, even if you have this off, if you put this on performance mode, it pretty much puts them at full speed anyways. So again, not really sure why they separated that. But they have a productivity mode section, so set external display as primary, which is nice. So you can turn that on if you have it connected to an outer display, and thus it'll turn this display off to save battery life and performance. You can enable or disable the touchpad here. I don't know why you'd want to disable it. It's pretty useful. And I gotta say, on my Steam Deck, I never once ever used the touchscreen. I never needed to. However, on the Legion Go, I feel like more often than not, I need to use the touchscreen, which is not a good thing. The trackpad is okay, but it feels really slow. Like, it's not much travel. You really have to drag it across. And from what I can find, at least what I can't find, is any way to change that to make it more sensitive. There probably is a setting for it, but I have not been able to find a setting for that, sadly. There is controller settings, but look at that. Like, look at this. I'm hitting up once and it skips every other one. That's what I'm talking about. It's a very, like, just glitchy interface right now. It feels very beta-ish. I'm not very happy with it. Hopefully, Lenovo will continue to work on this, though, and release updates. Like, right now, it's completely frozen. I don't know what's going on. But I can use the touchscreen, because, again, I've used the touchscreen almost for everything with this device. It's the only way that seems to work properly, or the way that I needed to. But even going into controller settings here, I haven't been able to find a way to make the touchpad a little bit more sensitive, because that would be my preferred method, or just using the gamepad itself. Like, I did find a way through Steam, as you can see, to use the analog now as my cursor, which just feels a lot more natural when I'm holding it than to go down here, because the trackpad is pretty low. So that was nice, but again, I had to use Steam to do that. There was no actual setting through the Lenovo software to do that. So this is just stuff that they need to figure out and make better for an easier user experience out of the gate, because right now it just doesn't seem to be that situation. Another thing too that I noticed is with the display. So they have these different resolutions, right? You have 1280 by 800, which is basically 720p, 1920 by 1200, which is basically 1080, and then you have 2560 by 1600, which is Quad HD. By default, it's on Quad HD 144 Hz. I want to leave it on 1080p, and I want to play my games at 1080p. For some reason, and this could just be the certain games that I've installed, and I have bad luck with it, with certain games, when they launch, they switch the resolution to whatever resolution they want. And if you try to change the resolution in-game, or especially in the settings menu, everything just glitches out and it freezes, and you have to restart the whole system to get out of it. It's really not worth it. The only game I've gotten able to run smoothly without any hiccups is GhostRunner, which is kind of funny because I thought that was going to be my AAA test game, and it seems to run the best out of these other games. So, for instance, I want to show you an example. If I go to Wreckfest here, and I launch this game, sometimes it'll launch in Windows mode, and sometimes it'll launch full screen. We'll see what it does. It looks like it did full screen, which is nice. We'll get into the game here. On a side note, I know I'm kind of rambling, but I tried using a Bluetooth controller, which is my PS5 controller, which I use with my Steam Deck all the time. I got it connected, no problem. It worked immediately. However, when it goes into games, when I go into games, half the time I can't get it to work. Right now it's working. Thank God. But for some reason, most games that I go into it doesn't recognize the controller's connected for some reason, and I'm forced to use the gamepad, which isn't the end of the world, because thankfully these detach, which the Steam Deck, they don't, and I can lay this on a table, on a tripod, or whatever, on its little kickstand, and I can use them that way, which isn't a big deal, so I probably won't be using an external Bluetooth controller all too often. But for videos like this, it's just easier, as you can see, to use a Bluetooth controller because I don't have to have my hands on the screen. So it was kind of annoying to me that most games, especially Steam games, surprisingly, would not recognize the Bluetooth controller. So this might just all be software related stuff, just some hiccups here and there that need to be fixed, and hopefully in time they will be. But I wanted to go into a game here just to show you an example of the performance and also just some glitches. So the first glitch you might notice is my FPS counter is nowhere to be seen. I, for the life of me, can't figure out how to get it to pop up, at least in this game. I got it to pop up for, I think it was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, it showed up, and Shredders I got to show up. But for some reason, with Wreckfest, no dice. I don't know why. But we're going to go to the game here, regardless. And you're going to notice it will kind of stutter here and there. There is many performance dips. But in the end, it's playable. And I think this is running at 1080p, whatever resolution I set to. Because again, it doesn't automatically set the game to the resolution you have set in the system settings. And to kind of make that more understandable, before we started the game, remember we were in the settings of the Legion Go. And I said that I wanted my resolution to be at 1080p. So I had that selected. But when I open a game, it will just set the resolution to whatever the game wants. It won't automatically change it to 1080p, which it should be at. And that's really something weird, because with the Steam Deck, it never did that. If I had it set to a certain resolution on the Steam Deck, it would stay that resolution the entire time, no problem. So yeah, this is running good. It definitely dips below 30 at times, but it's 100% playable. And it looks really good. I mean, I think this game is at like high settings right now. Again, I'm pretty sure we're at 1080p. Let me see. Oh no, we're at 720p, so we're a little bit lower than that, but that's okay. We have it at 60 hertz. We do have VSync on for some reason. I'm gonna disable that. Let's see if that helps the frames at all. And here's another thing. This happens almost every time. If you change a setting in game for some reason, it restarts the whole game. And here we go. This is what it's been doing. This is what I was trying to get on camera earlier. So the game will launch, and it for some reason will not fill the whole screen. And I, for the life of me, cannot figure out why. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So once we get into the game, it'll work. Like I'll be able to play the game, but it just won't fill the whole screen. So we got the controller to connect again, which is nice. But if I go into resolution, I have it on set to full screen right now, windowed full screen. And if I exit out of it, watch, it's going to crash. Or maybe not, because I was already set to full screen. If I change something, it'll crash. See? Change to Windows and it crashes. So that's just Wreckfest. Again, this could just be this game. I don't know. It's very annoying. So for now, let's get out of Wreckfest, if it'll let me cancel it. Sometimes it doesn't. Hopefully it will be nice. I may have broke it. This happened earlier too, and I had to restart the whole system to get it to go away. There we go. Close program. All right. So that's Wreckfest. Let's try going into Tony Hawk. Now this is playing not through Steam. This is through the Epic Games Launcher. Again, the fact that it's Windows, this was super easy peasy. I just went to Google, downloaded Epic Games Launcher, installed my game, and it launched the first try. On the Steam Deck, there was a whole other system of stuff I had to do to get my Epic games to work on it, which was a huge headache. But it is possible. Now here's the thing that I noticed with this though. This game, because it's running through the Epic Game Store, does not connect to my Bluetooth controller. No matter how hard I try to get it to work, it just does not recognize that I have a controller connected. So you're forced to use the controllers connected to the device, which is not the end of the world, but it is something to notice. So before we jump into the game, what are we running here for specs? So We're at the highest. We're at Quad HD right now resolution. Window full screen. No VSync. FPS cap at 90. Quality preset custom. I'm just going to do medium. And for some reason, these are all set to numbers. Yes. All right. So we have the highest resolution right now, but I'm putting the preset on medium just to see how this is going to run. So let's just go to the school. It sucks that I have to play it like this, because again, I would rather use my controller, but the game doesn't recognize it. Oh wow, what the? Why is the? Why does the camera move with it? This is what okay, this is what was happening earlier. The controls, for some reason, are glitched out with this game. And I've never seen this before. I've never experienced something like this before. Where the controls are, like if I jump, it does a kickflip when I use the analog. Watch this. It's like I'm playing Skate and not Tony Hawk. Isn't that weird? So I have to use the directional pad, I guess, to turn. Oh, it still does it though. For some reason, it does a kickflip. Okay, that's really annoying. It does a kickflip if I use the directional pad in midair. Or in indie, I guess. Okay. That's just, like, the controls are really glitched out. If I go into... Okay, there's no... Start doesn't work. Yeah, there's no start. Okay, so I got this to come up. Oh, I didn't show you this. So in Wreckfest, this does not work. No matter how many times you hit this button, nothing happens. So kind of leaves me to wonder how many games are not going to do that, right? Are not going to have this pop up because the software isn't nearly as fine-tuned as Steam's OS is. So at least from here you can get into stuff, but I can probably tell you right now, you change any of this, it's going to freeze the game. It's going to glitch it out. And I can't figure out a way to pause it. So that's wonderful. There's no way to pause the game. I don't even know how to get out of it. None of the buttons work. So, oh, I did a screenshot. That was an accident. Whoopsie. Didn't mean to do that. So yeah, that's been fun. I don't know if that's an Epic Games issue. I don't know if it's just the specific games issue. It might be a me issue. I don't know. But see, you can see device, Legion controller for Windows. Maybe if I just set it to Xbox. Let's just try that. Maybe that'll work better. Retry. Let's see if that fixed it. No, it's still doing it. And I still can't pause it. And the other thing too is this side vibrates constantly during this game. I don't know why. So yeah, I don't know if it's a Legion Go issue. I don't know if it's the game itself. Just really weird. Let's go back to the home screen here. Let's close out of that game. I don't know why it's like... Man, this system is so weird. All right, so when you have a game running, it does show a green little dot, which is nice. So to close it, oh God, all right, I did not do that, but to close it, I'm just gonna hit X. We're gonna get rid of that game. Okay, let's try going to a game that I know works and that I tested before streaming or recording this, and it seemed to work without an issue. And we're gonna test out the mouse capabilities. So what I mean by that is, like I stated before, you can detach both sides of the controllers. There's one side. And we'll attach the other side. Easy as that. Oh, I accidentally went into the game. Okay, whatever. So we have the right side, which turns into a mouse. How does this work? We grab the mount that it came with, and this just slides right in here, and it's got magnets built in, so it keeps it in place really nicely. Move this aside for a second. And you actually hold it like this. So this was really weird to get used to. Oh, you also have to turn on the FPS mode. So now it's on FPS mode. But this was really weird to get used to because you're holding it on the non-grip side, if that makes sense. So your palm is actually going over all of the inputs, which feels really weird. It took me a good 10 minutes to get used to, but once you do, it honestly, it does make sense because it has a better grip in the hand where your thumb placement is. And where your thumb is, you can now have the ability to hit both of these buttons as thumb buttons. And then now you have the main trigger or main mouse button and mouse 2 button. And then you also have the trigger up here you can slide up to, and you also have the scroll wheel. So I'll show you an example here. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to be holding the other controller in this hand. This is basically, this turns into your WASD essentially. So it's like half controller, half mouse and keyboard. It's really weird, but you'll get used to it pretty easily. I had the sound turned off, by the way, in case you were wondering for the game, just because I didn't want it to be blowing up my microphone. But we're going to go into the game here so I can show you guys an example of how this works. It's really weird to get used to, but it does work. So right now we're running at about 30 FPS. I don't remember what the settings I have set to right now. I might have to change them. We'll see. So as you can see, we can look around. The sensitivity is really high right now. So I'm going to pause it. We're going to go into settings. Go to control. Mouse sensitivity. I'm going to turn that way down right now. So we do have the highest resolution at the moment. I'm going to actually move that down. So we're going to go to full screen. We're going to go to 1080p. We have AMD FSR on. I'm going to turn this down to balanced. I'm just going to move everything down to kind of like medium specs to see how good of FPS we can get. So I'm going to apply that. Oh, wow. Beautiful. Oh my God, you can't make this stuff up. So this is what I'm talking about. Like if you mess with anything in any of the games, it glitches out the entire system. So this all can be fixed with updates, but this is horrible. I'm going to go back to borderless window and maybe that'll fix it. How do I go back? There we go. Would you like to save? Yes. All right, that fixed it. Oh, but did it put my resolution back? Hold on. It did. Wait, why did it bring the resolution? Oh my God, that's annoying. Maybe that's why it glitched out. So I want the resolution to be lower. All right, there we go. Now it didn't glitch out and we're at 1080p. All right, let's go back. Let's see if we get a little bit better performance now. Yeah, that's better. It's not nearly as crazy. But if you notice, my FPS counter disappeared. So the only way to bring that back is to click on the inner button here. And as you can see, it doesn't bring up anything. And I don't know why. So this is what I've been dealing with like for the past 3 hours. I was trying to get all these kinks out of the way and just hoping it was me being a dummy. But no, it's the system. Also, this is really laggy still. This is actually really bad. It was fine earlier. I just don't get this, man. This is so frustrating. And I can't get the other windows to pop. There we go. Okay, we got that to pop up. So we can get the quick. Okay. I hope you guys can sense my frustration through the video here. I'm not trying to be stupid. Like, this is just how it is. Okay. So we got the quick settings to work when we're not in the game. When the game is not showing, which the game crashed, by the way, because it's not showing that it's running. Now we can change the resolutions. So I guess from here, I'm going to set the resolution to 1200 by 800. And I'm going to set the refresh rate to 60 hertz. Wow, this should be instant. Like, the fact that this takes so long to adjust is really kind of yikes, I'm not going to lie. But it looks like we got it saved, hopefully. Let's X out of it and see if it did. So, open up menu, hit it again. Okay, good. No, it didn't. Why'd you set it back to 144 hertz? Stay at 60. Please connect the power supply before... Are you serious? Batteries at 50%. Why do I have to connect the power supply before I switch? This is ridiculous. Okay, hold on. Okay, I connected it to the wall, and I was able to switch it. Let's see if it stayed. Look at how laggy this is. It took a screenshot. Okay, now it's not as laggy. Okay, but at least it say it's at 60. All right. Oh god, let's try this again. Start it up. Oh, it was still. Oh my god. Oh my god. Is it literally launching two versions of this? Or did it realize it was being stupid? I hope to God it realized. Okay, well. This is still not the right resolution. I want 720p, please. Alright. Now let's see if we got a little bit better performance. Oh yeah, that seems a lot smoother. It's obviously the graphics look a lot worse, but it seems a lot smoother. That's good. I don't remember the controls. So you can crouch. We can jump. Okay. Oh. Try it again. So now it's working pretty good. And as you can see, I hope you can see like where my hand is, like how this is working with the mouse. It's really weird to get used to. You know, I've been a PC keyboard and mouse player for probably 10 years now. And you would think I'd feel right at home like this, but this is not a regular PC keyboard and mouse situation. However, I could see somebody getting really used to this and playing a lot of games this way, especially first-person shooters. I'm really curious to try Call of Duty on this, or Battlefield, or Apex Legends or something, because I think this would be really cool, especially for on the go. Like if you're at a hotel, if they can buff out these kinks with the software, this is going to be the greatest handheld of all time, easily, because the performance is there. I've gotten games to run pretty good on this thing with little hiccups, and not even like having to really lower the resolution. This is just for testing purposes. I lowered the resolution, but I was playing this earlier at the Quad HD, and I was getting 60 FPS. So I don't know if it's just something is different. You know what? It was also, I had it plugged into the wall, so it was probably using more power. And you can probably go in the settings and change it to, you know, using the max amount of power even on battery. Just, you know, you're not going to get much battery life, but at least you'll get the best performance. So this is on battery power at the moment. So that's why the performance obviously isn't going to be as amazing, but it's still 100% playable. You just got to come into it with realistic expectations. This is not a 4090, you know, with like a i3, with like an i9 1300K or anything like that. It's nothing like that, but it still gets the job done. So yeah, so that's like the FPS mode. This is how the mouse works. It's super cool. It's intuitive. I got to give him props for that. It's a really unique design. It's fun. It just, the software is really buggy right now. It needs updates, and I'm hoping they'll come soon. I'm sure they will. And I'm sure Lenovo is getting a lot of, you know, backlash and people saying, hey, this needs to get fixed right now, and hopefully it will. So let's put this back together. Luckily, this is a super easy system. It just clicks right into place. Clicks right into place, just like that. And then we're gonna pause the game, go back to the home screen. Maybe. See, this is what I'm talking about, man. There we go. These kinks gotta get worked out. This is a Steam game. See, there we go. See, I would expect that. Now it's a start, like as if it's not even running. But we all know it's running. Because look at that, it's still running. I can't even go back to my home screen. I'm trying to get back to the desktop. Because yeah, it's, you know, it's got some amazing features. It runs really well when you're not in a game. But as soon as you launch a game, this happens. Like the whole system just does not work the way it's supposed to. And this still confuses the hell out of me. So you can set your resolution to like 1080p, but then in game it doesn't change it to that resolution like it should. And it's always done that with a Steam Deck, where if I set it to 720p in the Steam Deck, it would set to 720p in the game. But for some reason in the game, you could be running it at 4K, even if your system settings is set to 720p. Very odd. I don't know if that's something they could ever fix. It could be a Windows error. I don't know. But this is not going to work with controller mode at all. There we go. So I was trying to get back to this. So maybe I can get back to the home screen, possibly? What does home do? Oh, that just brings you back here. Okay. What about power? Exit? Nope, that did not do what I wanted it to. Oh, great. And now, yeah, okay. So if you do exit, it just closes that Legion software, but you can still play games and everything else. You can still use the system, because at that point, it's just a Windows laptop. But obviously, then you lose the ability of whatever slightly ability you had in the first place of the quick settings and whatnot. But every game I've used, I have not been able to get those quick settings to work like they're supposed to. And this is a problem. I can't get back. I'm trying to get to the desktop because I want to close out of the game, but there's no way to do it, at least from what I'm seeing. And this could all be just user error. I could just be stupid, but I'm really not seeing a way to do this. Maybe if I launch a different game, it'll tell me to. No, it's gonna try to launch it regardless. Oh my god! Now it's running 2 games at once. Okay, that's actually kind of impressive. The fact that it's running right now, it's not crashing on me, but it's not. Oh, I didn't turn the FPS mode off. There we go. Wow. Okay, so that is impressive. I have to admit, that is impressive. So I have 2 instances. I have GhostRunner running, and we have Shredders running on a different display here, but I can't get back to it now. Yeah, see? It shows Shredders is running. It does not know GhostRunners is running for some reason. That is hilarious. I'm actually dumbfounded that this is running at all with the 2 games. It just kind of goes to show this thing is a beast. This thing has a lot of power. It can run games really well, even on battery power. Like, look at this game's running pretty smoothly at 60 FPS right, or 46 FPS right now. So, I don't know, man. It's just really glitchy. All I can say is right now, this is not a full review by any means. This has been a very long video, but I wanted to give you guys my honest and first impressions, first thoughts of this thing. I'm really excited to see what the future holds for Legion Go. I think it'll be better than the Steam Deck in due time, but right now it is easily in a very beta state, and it is kind of a bummer. But it's a beast. I mean, it's got a lot of power behind the hood. I got a full terabyte of storage to put on different stuff on it. I'm actually right now transferring files from my PC onto a USB drive that I'm going to be transferring it to this for emulation purposes. So I'm really curious to see how emulating is going to be on this device compared to my Steam Deck, which is what I used it mostly for. So in my full review, I'll obviously go over that. I'll do that like a versus video and stuff like that. But yeah, this is my first impressions, first thoughts on it. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys think? Am I kind of overreacting with this software stuff? Is it a user error? Do you guys have one as well? And am I the problem? Let me know. I truly want to know your guys' thoughts. So thank you so much for watching. Be tuned for more videos on Legion Go coming very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.